जिस भी घर में ना बच्चों को फ्रीडम होती है कुछ भी करने के लिए, मुझे लगता है दैट गोज अ लॉन्ग वे इन पेविंग अ पाथ फॉर यू एज अ क्रिएटिव पर्सन. इतना तो मुझे लगता है भरोसा पेरेंट्स को होना चाहिए अपने बच्चों पर, क्योंकि हम लोग को इतनी आज़ादी का हक है. हैबिट leads to consistency leads to discipline, and discipline will lead to growth.
When I don't used to block time for that in my calendar, in my day, I would say अरे सुबह नहीं किया तो दिन में कर लेंगे, दिन में नहीं किया तो शाम में कर लेंगे. नहीं होता ही नहीं है वो वैसे. तो I think the method to madness could also be found in blocking a certain time and staying committed to it.
I feel so sad to say that I have friends who are so liberated, educated, who've studied from the best universities, who are feminists, who have run feminist organizations, who have still felt this immense pressure to live up, live the dreams that parents have dreamt for them, whether it is about choosing the right partner, marrying in the same community, living by their rules. आप hypocrite हो फिर. वो सुबह उठ के ऐसे 4 checks करते हैं कि how am I feeling emotionally? So that just makes you more aware. How am I feeling physically? How am I feeling spiritually? And how am I feeling creatively? मैं इतना नहीं भाव देती हूँ इन चीज़ों को. बस done is better than perfect is the mantra for me. It is about a daily affirmation that I am meant to do this. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? अब वो चाहे pomposity हो या narcissism हो या फिर मेरा खुद का Iron Man सूट हो, मेरे को पहनने की ज़रूरत है आज, because I am standing for people who do not have a voice.
Hi, my name is Shobha Rana, and welcome to the Journey Within podcast with me, where we deep dive into the personal growth journeys of our guests. In this show, we explore the experiences, insights and lessons learned from individuals who have embarked on a journey of self-discovery and transformation. Our guests share their stories of navigating through life's ups and downs, finding purpose and meaning, and ultimately becoming the best versions of themselves. Join us as we reflect on life, gain wisdom, and inspire each other to keep taking this journey within and understanding and exploring the dimension of our inner world. Today, I'm going to be in conversation with somebody who I was hoping to meet for a very long time. She is multidimensional, multifaceted, multi-talented, a poet, a lyricist, a creative leader, ex-editor for The Rolling Stone, an entrepreneur now. She just launched her new venture called Mox Asia, a talent management company, a few days ago. And today she's here to share her inspiring journey with us. Please welcome with me, Nirmika Singh. Hi, Nirmika.
Hi, Shobha. I'm so glad to be talking to you today.
Nirmika, firstly, you do so many things on a professional level and so many more things on a personal level. You're a poet, you're a lyricist, you're a brand engineer, you're an entrepreneur, and so much more. How do you manage all of this? Tell me how a day in your life looks like.
Oh gosh, thank you so much for that wonderful question, because you've literally spelled out all the many things that I do. For me, it's just an extension of my personality. I am chaotic. I am frenetic in the way I, work around all of those things. But they actually come very naturally to me, because this is all I know. And this is all I've done all my life, which is, do many things. So I just feel that by doing many things, I am singularly pointing towards the one thing that I care about the most, which is creativity, because everything is tied into creativity.
How did you dabble into this creative dimension of yourself? How did you identify it? Because in India particularly, we are not people who nurture creativity or value creativity as much.
Again, a beautiful question. And I think it's very relevant, Shobha, because I was very lucky to be in a household where creativity was encouraged. Both my parents are poets, unpublished poets. So I grew up actually watching them go to Kavi Sammelans and perform. तो हमारे घर में पढ़ाई पे भी बहुत सख्ती थी, लेकिन creativity और extra curricular activities पर भी बहुत जोर था. तो they always wanted us to excel in many things. And जिस भी घर में ना बच्चों को freedom होती है कुछ भी करने के लिए, मुझे लगता है that goes a long way in paving a path for you as a creative person. जैसे मेरे घर में I would paint on the walls, I would write poetry, I would perform, I wanted a guitar as my 14th birthday gift. And all those things were granted to me. Whenever I wanted to learn something, I was never stopped from that. And I think that is beautiful, because we can learn that for our younger generation.
Like you said that you were lucky that that you were born into such a household. But it's not just the luck that takes you on a success trajectory. And you've seen much success with your poetry, with ex-editor of the Rolling Stones magazine. You've had such amazing collaborations with artists. A.R. Rahman was one of the artists you collaborated with. So what leads to really success out of, all of this chaos that happens all the time in your life? What actually sets you on a path of success?
Thank you. I mean, if you think that the journey has been successful, I feel that I'm only building on all the things. I'm only still exploring all the many things that I want to do. I think creativity and talent combined with a very strong drive, a very good temperament to adapt and to excel, and consistency. I think talent alone cannot take you that far. There's so many talented people. In fact, a lot of the older generation believe कि अच्छा ये talented है, इसको opportunity नहीं मिली, और ये talented है, इसको platform मिला. लेकिन असली बात यह है कि कोई talent अकेले लेकर कुछ नहीं कर सकता अगर वो lazy है. अगर talent है और opportunity नहीं है, तब भी problem है. So I think as a talented person who's committed to the cause of creativity, whether you want to be an artist or even a creator, even a business person, everyone needs to be creative today, to be adaptable, to be adaptive to the new environment around us. We just have to be ready for opportunities and not wait for them to fall into our lap. We have to be present where everything is. And that's been my learning, which is why, I'm sure it's the same with you. Your life is so busy. You have to be there everywhere because we have to literally have our finger on the pulse of the nation, right? You cannot detach yourself from it. So I feel that, and also I thrive in it. I thoroughly enjoy being around artists, being around creative people. So whether it's a music concert, it's a poetry thing, or even building, solutions for brands when it comes to music and pop culture, मुझे बहुत मजा आता है करने में.
लेकिन कंसिस्टेंसी को बिल्ड कैसे करें निर्मिका? बिकॉज हर किसी को पता है कि कंसिस्टेंसी बहुत ज़रूरी है. योर लैक ऑफ टैलेंट, और यू कैन कॉम्पनसेट फॉर योर टैलेंट ऑल्सो, आई फील इन सम वे विद कंसिस्टेंसी. बिकॉज आई नो मेनी पीपल हु आर एक्सट्रीमली हार्ड वर्किंग एंड कंसिस्टेंट एंड मे बी आर नॉट एज गिफ्टेड विद द क्राफ्ट, बट दे आर डूइंग वंडर्स. तो ये कंसिस्टेंसी जो है इसको बिल्ड कैसे किया जाए?
मुझे लगता है कंसिस्टेंसी को आप बिल्ड कर सकते हो हैबिट से, और वो कैसे होता है? डिसिप्लिन से. इट्स वेरी सिंपल. देयर आर 4 थिंग्स. हैबिट leads to consistency, consistency leads to discipline, and discipline will lead to growth. तो आपको कोई भी 21 दिन, आपको कोई भी चीज़ मुश्किल लगती है ना, आप उसको केवल 21 दिन दो. Do that thing for 10 minutes every day. And there is no way in the world you will not fall in love with the process. It's actually also litmus test for whether you love it or not. ऐसे पैंडेमिक में मैंने 21 दिन, जो फर्स्ट पैंडेमिक था ना 2020 में, the first spell, which was for 21 days, I decided that I want to be a poet who is performing for people, who is engaging with her audience online. So every day at 5 p.m., I would wear a sari. I would face the audience. I used to do a live on Facebook and Instagram and address these hundreds of people who were tuning in. And I realized that it was basically the process, the consistency and the discipline, whether I felt okay or not, whether I had a workload on that day or not, I just had to show up. तो ये अपने पे बहुत बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. मुझे लगता है हमारा अपने पर्पस पर एक बहुत बड़ा कर्तव्य है. टू आवर ओन सेल्व्स, ऑल आवर लाइव्स वी आर सर्विंग अदर पीपल्स पर्पसेस. लेकिन अपने लिए जीना, आई थिंक.
I truly feel that time blocking का जो concept है ना, that's so amazing. Like you blocked your calendar for 5 p.m. every day, that I have to show up at this place with my outfit, with my poem, with my camera and shoot. So that you wouldn't sort of compromise on for anything. So blocking time in your calendar, in your day, for an activity that you're so passionate about is really important. And this is a personal learning for me, because I'm really passionate about doing yoga and fitness. But when I don't used to block time for that in my calendar, in my day, I would say, अरे सुबह नहीं किया तो दिन में कर लेंगे, दिन में नहीं किया तो शाम में कर लेंगे. नहीं होता ही नहीं है वो वैसे. तो I think the method to madness could also be found in blocking a certain time and staying committed to it.
So a lot of people who have excelled in so many different fields say that taking up a habit has to be as true to you as, say, brushing your teeth. You don't question brushing your teeth, right? You just have to do it. It's something that you have to get done with every day. So if you treat a task that you have to do every day as essential and as important as brushing your teeth, you'll be fine. Same thing, people don't go to the gym, right? Because they're like, okay, abhi subah nahi gaye, shaam ko jayenge, aaj man nahi kar raha, barish ho rahi hai. We'll find 100 reasons to not do something. But sometimes one reason, and one reason alone is enough to do anything.
And especially when it's about your passion, then you need to have that much fire in your belly that one reason is enough for you to go all the way.
Absolutely. एब्सोल्युटली, बिल्कुल सही बोला है. मेरा रीज़न तो बड़ा सिंपल है. आई वांट टू डीमिस्टिफाई creativity for everybody, and I want to do it in any avatar possible, whether it's as a music editor, as a journalist, as a curator, today as an entrepreneur. I think my purpose has to be driven. तो वो जो आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा था ना कि क्या चीज़ आपको कमिट करेगी कॉज पे, आपको डिसिप्लिन बनाएगी, एक आपको अपना नॉर्थ स्टार आइडेंटिफाई करना है.
But how did you identify your North Star?
हज़ारों चीज़ों करने के बाद
क्योंकि इजी प्रोसेस नहीं है ना अपना नॉर्थ स्टार को भी आइडेंटिफाई करना.
आपको बहुत चीज़ें करनी पड़ेंगी. आजकल प्रॉब्लम क्या है, एंड आई एम नाउ स्पीकिंग एज समवन हुज एक्सपीरियंस एंड एज इफ आई एम सम ज्ञानी, कि लोगों को ना बहुत जल्दी रिजल्ट्स चाहिए बिकॉज ग्रेटिफिकेशन इज सो एसेंशियल टू आवर बीइंग. सो पीपल डोंट फॉल इन लव विद द प्रोसेस, दे फॉल इन लव विद द आउटकम. But if you have an outcome oriented approach with everything, you are going to eventually fall flat on your face because you have to love the process. And उसको आप identify तभी कर सकते हो जब आप 1000 चीज़ें करोगे. There are so many things that I've done and so many things that I have not done properly as much as I loved it. You know, sometimes your enthusiasm exceeds your ability. Or it exceeds your expertise. But it's only after you do many things you realize, okay, out of the 10 things that I do, I love 2. And there's one thing that I am absolutely amazing at. Find that.
Your ability and willingness to do something are two different things. Sometimes you might not have the ability or the capability to do a thing, but if your willingness is there, then you can build on that little ability and enhance it to, grow even further.
Beautifully said. Absolutely.
Nirmika, I like the way you talked about trying different things to find what you're really good in or what clicks with you. And sometimes कोई चीज़ें होती है जिनमें आप शायद एवरेज होते हो, बट यू फील दैट इट क्लिक्स विद मी, आई वांट टू गेट बेटर एट दिस. Those things also you encounter while dabbling into multiple things. So it's a beautiful suggestion to try out as much as possible. This process of whole self-discovery that you get into by trying different things is very intriguing and beautiful. लेकिन फिर भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो इसको नहीं अडाप्ट करते हैं, बिकॉज हमारी जो अप्रोच है ना, अनफॉर्चुनेटली ऑफ वट एवर, इट्स ड्रिवन मोस्टली विद द आउटकम्स. वी आर कंडीशन्ड सिंस चाइल्डहुड टू लुक एट द आउटकम. पढ़ाई क्यों करनी है? क्योंकि फर्स्ट आना है. फर्स्ट क्यों आना है? क्योंकि ये बनना है. सो वी आर ट्रेन्ड लाइक दैट. सो इट्स हार्ड वायर्ड इन आवर सिस्टम. सो हाउ डू वी sort of give up the security or whatever this outcome gives us to follow this self-discovery path?
I think you can do it very easily by defying the system. And first of all, by defying your parents. And I say to every young person that I meet with, and I meet with so many emerging artists, सब लोग बोलते हैं कि parents से pressure ये है. मैं बोला आप क्यों ले रहे हो? लेकिन defy them. Once you begin to defy the most easy, stable, something that you can lean on, that sort of system, you've already crossed that initial hurdle of being very sure of what you want to do. Because for some people, I didn't have to do that, thankfully. In fact, I joke about it कि मुझे कभी rebel करने का मौका ही नहीं दिया. मेरे को बनना है, someone who defies the system. लेकिन मुझे नहीं मिला, शायद अच्छी बात है.
अब मिलेगा now that you're an entrepreneur, अब बहुत सारे मौके मिलेंगे.
Absolutely. और वो I'm looking forward to those challenges, and there've been challenges. Of course, there've been so many. But जो challenges सोचो मुझे शायद बचपन में नहीं मिला, कि मेरे पेरेंट्स ने नहीं बोला कि आप यही करो. उन्होंने बोला कि आप जिसमें अच्छा, आपको जो पसंद है, जो अच्छे से कर सकते हो आप वो करो, लेकिन ऐसा करो जिसमें आपको कॉन्फिडेंस है. बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स ऐसे नहीं बोलते, लेकिन अगर आप वहीं से डिफाई करना शुरू करोगे, you will become sure of your ambition. Sometimes people just need a driver. They need something that motivates them, and that peg can be the pursuit of something that is not always positive in nature, right? Sometimes people want to prove their mettle to their parents. Prove कि मैं करके दिखाऊंगा फिर समझ में आएगा उनको. So sometimes लोगों को ऐसा वाला चाहिए होता है. कुछ लोगों को चाहिए होता है कि मैं ऐसा करूंगा तो मुझे बहुत संतोष मिलेगा, which is my being. कि अच्छा मैं ऐसे करूंगी तो I will feel fulfilled. What people care about, I don't think I really care about what people think of me. And I know that's a very difficult outlook to maintain, but all can be learned, Shobha. Nobody was born with a very confident attitude to creativity. I think I had to learn so many things. I was questioned and challenged. In fact, my abilities have been questioned and challenged, whether it's in a newsroom, where it's among, say a business group. A lot of the settings also tend to be very predominantly men. So of course they look at you as someone who is, a pretty thing on a panel, a pretty thing in a, professional environment. All of those things we learn to sort of imbibe. But I'm so happy that by consistently showing up with your brilliance, intelligence, commitment, talent, and of course, whatever avatar you want to create for yourself, you can challenge it. जो चीज़ नहीं आपको मिलती, जो बहुत रेयर है ना, जो वर्च्यू, वो हिम्मत का है. बहुत सिंपल सी बात है. मैं बोलती हूँ आप कुछ मत करो, आप बस हिम्मत वाले बनो. आप बोल सकते हो अपने पेरेंट्स को नहीं करना मेरे को. आपको क्यों पड़ी है आपके पेरेंट्स की कि आप पे इतना बड़ा ऑब्लिगेशन है? एंड दैट इज इनफैक्ट आई थिंक आई एम डिफाइंग द इंडियन सोसाइटी बाय सेइंग दिस, प्लीज लर्न टू डिफाई योर पेरेंट्स फर्स्ट, challenge them. And I think that's where the real sort of liberation comes.
You know, Nirmika, when somebody talks like this is very unconventional, right? People will tell you to obey your parents, to keep them happy, do what they want, live your life in a pursuit of making them happy also, somewhere, subconsciously at least, if not so much out in the face now. So defying your parents is a very unconventional advice that you're giving to everybody out here. But do you also get called out for these bold things that you say and that you sort of stand for?
Absolutely not, because it's so contextual. I'm saying defy your parents for not believing in your capability to excel in a field that you have chosen for yourself. Nobody's saying drive them out of your home, right? So defy your parents for the right reasons, and do all the outrageously loving things for them for all the right reasons. And I think that it's our responsibility to contextualize conversations, to contextualize things.
Right.
And no, absolutely, I think I'm so loved and I thrive on that love, that I can say some things because they're all coming from my experience. I moved to Bombay all by myself, telling my mama, and not even literally asking her, informing her that, you know what, this is what I want to do. Can I go? She's like, as long as you're safe, as long as you think this is the right choice, go for it. At 18, I want to sing in a nightclub in Noida. And all my mom wanted to know was, are you going to be safe? Are you sure that the musician performing with you is, you know, trustworthy? Can we leave them, you know, can we leave you in there? At 18, I wanted to perform in a nightclub. I was obsessed with music, and I got an offer to perform at a nightclub in Radisson, Noida.
Oh, wow.
And I told my mom, and I know that I was very scared to bring it up to her that I wanted to perform in a nightclub. I was a great scholar, and which 18-year-old kid is allowed to perform in a nightclub, right? And all she did was ask me whether I was going to be safe, if it's a good environment, if it's something that I think will help me become a better musician, a better artist. एंड इतना तो मुझे लगता है भरोसा पेरेंट्स को होना चाहिए अपने बच्चों पर, क्योंकि हम लोग को इतनी आज़ादी तो मतलब का हक है.
True. I think kahin na kahin this message needs to go out to the parents also, that you cannot project your own definition of career or success or commercially viable future that you want to see for your kids on them completely, because every child is born with their own creativity, their own imagination, their own wings to fly out and explore things. So I think wo liberty dena for them to take that flight, take that leap of faith, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है आज की डेट में, because a lot of my friends and a lot of people that I speak to अपनी लाइफ के बहुत सारी चीज़ें सिर्फ इसलिए कर रहे हैं कि पेरेंट्स को दुख ना पहुँचे.
एब्सोल्युटली.
चाहे वो अपने डिफिकल्ट रिलेशनशिप्स को मेंटेन करना है, चाहे वो एक करियर ऑप्शन पे टिके रहना है, चाहे वो कोई पर्सनल लाइफ की चॉइस बनाना है, ऑल ऑफ दैट इज गवर्नड विद नॉट हर्टिंग द पेरेंट्स. सो कहीं ना कहीं वो थोड़ा हर्ट कॉज करना भी ओके, आई थिंक, मेरे हिसाब से.
हाँ,
कहीं ना कहीं ना कहना भी ठीक है,
क्योंकि देखो उन्होंने वो सब हम पे इसलिए उनके आइडियाज थोपे. Actually, India में तो यही है ना. I'm absolutely not shy to admit that I have friends who are, I feel so sad to say that I have friends who are so liberated, educated, you know, who've studied from the best universities, who are feminists, who have run feminist organizations, who have still felt this immense pressure to live up, you know, live the dreams that parents have dreamt for them, whether it is about choosing the right partner, marrying in the same community, living by their rules. मुझे लगता है फिर तो आपका एजुकेशन, मतलब आप क्या पर्पस सर्व कर रहे हो?
पुलिंग थ्रू दैट मैरिज,
पुलिंग थ्रू, एंड आप हिपोक्रेट हो फिर, है ना. और ये पेरेंट्स पर भी है कि जो उनके जनरेशन के जो आइडियल्स थे, प्रिंसिपल्स थे, वो इस जनरेशन पे शायद नहीं लागू हो सकते हैं. वो फिल्टर करना हमारी ड्यूटी है. एंड इट्स ऑल्सो, आई थिंक, लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर चेंजिंग, बट जो हमारा ऑब्लिगेशन, जैसे इंडिया में ना children feel indebted to serve the cause of their parents. I think that is so toxic.
That is extremely toxic. Thank you for saying that, you know, because that leads to such a decline in their own mental health. And they're all the time trying to pour from this empty cup. No wonder they are not fulfilled in their relationships. No wonder they are not fulfilled in their careers. No wonder they are not happy in just being who they want to be, because they are not actually being who they want to be. They just want to fit into this box that parents or society or whoever had designed and said कि यार ये तुमको ऐसा होना है.
Which is why I learned to defy. And once you get used to defying, you will get used to being very convinced of your own purpose. So some people need an act of defiance, and some people need an act of conviction. In my case, it was conviction. But to people who have the need to defy, I ask them to defy. Or hota hai, practice makes you want to be a better person.
Totally, Nirmika. I am so happy for you that you are trying to, pursue all of these pursuits that your heart wants, that you feel कि यार इसमें मुझे interest आ रहा है, इसमें मुझे passion आ रहा है, जैसे entrepreneurship. Just now, a few days ago, you founded Mox Asia. You've become an entrepreneur now. You're starting this heavy loaded, fully chaotic journey of becoming an entrepreneur. How has it been? How have the past 2-3 weeks have been for you, and how is it looking ahead?
Wow, I think the past month. So we announced Mox Asia literally a month ago.
Yeah.
And it has been a dream come true for me to wear the tag of a full-time entrepreneur. I've always been an artist. So, being an artist is also being like a creative entrepreneur. But for me to now have the responsibility of, let me allow myself the courage to say that I have the responsibility of the creative fabric of this nation. That I do have the responsibility now to uplift it, to amplify it, and to enable it. And I feel it in my bones, which is why I wanted to do it. Which is why I feel that every creative dream at least needs a chance to grow. Whether it succeeds in its eventual ambition is for us to see. लेकिन उसको चांस ही कोई नहीं देता है, उसको पहले ही बर्थ होने से पहले ही उसको मार देते हैं. It's literally, that made me really sad, and which is why Mox Asia was born. Mox Asia is born with a very clear agenda of helping artists scale themselves, and even people who do not identify as artists but have the ability or the drive to become artists. So it's built on those pillars. So we are right now a talent management company and also a creative agency. We are managing Swaratma, which is one of the greatest bands in India. So I'm really, really happy to be representing them. And at the same time, my offering to artists is this beautiful starter pack that they can take in, that they can use to build a dream team for themselves.
Wow, that's so wonderful, Nirmika. Once you're standing for your own vision and your own purpose in your life, it's a very fulfilling and happy feeling. And no wonder I can see a lot of joy on your face, a lot of bliss on your face when you're saying all this. But I'm sure when you are just standing for something that is completely 100% yours, there are tons of moments of self-doubt. I want to talk about that how does this journey look within? In the outer world, it looks like talking to brands, talking to artists, getting this deal, conceptualizing this and that, blah, 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 100 things. But how does this turmoil in the inside go? Take me through that, please.
Wow. So this is literally the journey within, right? The journey within, the creative journey within. Right now for me has been, I need to be a giddy optimistic person. I have to be a giddy optimist for me to wear the hat of an entrepreneur, to project myself as an entrepreneur and to believe that I can do it. So the turmoil, it's not as much as a turmoil as it is about a daily affirmation that I am meant to do this. If not me, then who? If not now, then when? Right? That's what I'm standing by. Michelle Obama said this, I think, right? If not me, then who? कौन कर सकता है? तो मैं तो ऐसे ही अपने आप को बोलती हूँ, किस में हिम्मत है जो ये करेगा? कौन करेगा? कौन सोचेगा इनके बारे में? कौन इनसे बात करेगा? Who will connect the dots? So I want to be a catalyst. अब वो चाहे pomposity हो या narcissism हो या फिर मेरा खुद का Iron Man suit हो, मेरे को पहनने की जरूरत है आज, because I am standing for people who do not have a voice.
Actually, pompous होने में I think कोई बुराई नहीं है जब तक आप उसकी अवेयरनेस में हो. chaotic होने में भी कोई बुराई नहीं है जब तक आप उसकी अवेयरनेस में हो कि यार this is happening with me and I know what is happening and why this is happening. वो अवेयरनेस होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. कहीं ना कहीं हम प्रोसेस के साथ इतना इन्वॉल्व हो जाते हैं ना that we lose the awareness of if it is really bringing us joy anymore, if it is really serving what I started it with the intention or the purpose. So एक वो अपने आप को एक reality check awareness के साथ देते रहना बहुत ज़रूरी है. I think it's become very important for the entrepreneur and for everybody, I think, to be very mindful of what they're doing in life, to give themselves these constant checks of how what they've, क्योंकि क्या होता है ना, कई चीज़ें आप प्लान करते हो, आगे चल के लगता है कि यार ये प्लान को रोल बैक करना पड़ेगा, किसी प्लान को रोल आउट करना पड़ेगा. तो बड़े सारे चीज़ों के थ्रू you're navigating every day. So every moment mindful living is also, I think, extremely important.
Absolutely. तभी तो बहुत important है for entrepreneurs to be very clear in their agenda and for us not to be distracted. And right now in this phase 3, I've only just begun. For me to not even let doubt creep in, because I know I'm going to fail. And I'm not going to fail, I'm going to learn. none of my failures are going to be failures. None of my failures in the past have been failures. I'm just so proud of all the things I even stumbled at and fell down, over, and then got myself up on and progress forward. So all of that, and I know it's going to happen. Right now, I'm very confident about what I'm, presenting to the world, but I know that it might not be received that way. They might think this is not for us. There could be a product market mismatch as well in my offering, right? But then that's how you learn. If I wouldn't learn, I wouldn't progress. And I'm happy for the learnings. I'm happy for everything that's going to come my way. And I'm really, really looking forward to learning from people in the business. I am literally an entrepreneurial baby right now. I have so much to learn. I have so much to gain, and I have so much to give back. So my ears and eyes are open. So that's the turmoil within right now, is that I am just learning to listen to people. जो अब वो जर्नलिस्ट का हैट मैंने रख दिया है,
जिसमें सवाल पूछते
हो और आप सोचते हो कि आप तो अथॉरिटी हो, आप बताओगे क्या चलेगा, आप बताओगे,
आप नैरेटिव बिल्ड करोगे,
हाँ, आप क्यूरेटर हो, आप गेट कीपर हो, वो सब मैंने अब रख दिया है. एंड आई एम लाइक, अच्छा अब मेरे को आप बताओ कि व्हाट कैन आई डू टू नाउ सर्व अ हायर पर्पस ऑफ हेल्पिंग एवरीबडी. सो आई थिंक दैट इज अगेन a position of responsibility.
So beautifully said, Nirmika, and rightly so. When you are onto a path like this, आपको अपनी पूरी डिक्शनरी को ना शायद दोबारा से बिल्ड करना पड़ता है. बहुत सारे मीनिंग्स, वर्ड्स को रीडिफाइन करना पड़ता है. लाइक फेलियर, व्हाट इज़ योर आइडिया ऑफ फेलियर, व्हाट यूज्ड टू बी योर आइडिया ऑफ फेलियर दैट यू ग्रू अप विद, वो पूरे को ट्वीक करके उसको एक लर्निंग प्रोसेस की तरह समझना पड़ेगा, है ना. पिटफॉल्स को रीडिफाइन करना पड़ेगा, अपने गोल पोस्ट को रीडिफाइन करना पड़ेगा, गोल्स को ट्वीक करना पड़ेगा. सो इन सब के जो मतलब है, सक्सेस के मतलब को रीट्वीक करना पड़ेगा. बहुत सारे प्लान्स को रोल आउट करके फिर रोल बैक करना पड़ेगा. It's such a position where you could be putting yourself under a lot of confusion and let some sort of clarity to emerge out of it if possible. So इस पूरे dwindling process में I just want to ask that, do you ever have an identity crisis?
आपने बात कही ना हर चीज़ को रीडिफाइन करने की. मैं पहले सोचती थी और मुझे बहुत कहा भी गया था, अभी नहीं, 5-6 साल पहले, when I used to be a part-time musician as well, कि maybe there is some identity crisis. Maybe, you do so many things. And I realize that your 20s are meant to build on whatever you want to build on. You are supposed to do many things to find out what you're actually great at. तो मुझे लगता है कभी आइडेंटिटी क्राइसिस नहीं थी, वो आइडेंटिटी एक्सप्लोरेशन हो रही थी. और वो कितनी सौभाग्य की बात है कि आप इतनी सारी चीज़ें कर पा सकते हो. लॉट ऑफ पीपल कैन डू मैनी थिंग्स बट दे जस्ट फोर्स्ड इनटू वन लेबल. बट टू want to dabble and to be able to dabble in many things and then pick, oh, that's what I'm great at. I think that's the learning that I've had. And you're right, redefining is key, is one of the biggest pillars on which entrepreneurs, derive strength from. आप हर पल आपको इतना अडेप्ट करना पड़ता है अपने आप को that you don't know, you're also selling your work, you're also structuring it, you're also thinking about strategy, tactics. So just to be in a constant, cycle of redefinition, reinvention is very important.
Nirmika, one personal, challenge that I face as an entrepreneur is that I'm not able to cut off the emotion 100% out of an assertion that I'm making. You know what I'm saying? क्योंकि आप इतने पैशनेट हो अपने काम के लिए और आप इतने इन्वॉल्व होते हो उस प्रोसेस के साथ that when something does not go your way, your expression of letting it out or asserting it to your team sometimes has a little bit of emotion on it, with it. Which I don't think is a very healthy way to do it, which I'm learning to sort of keep myself into this constant check. But do you also face this, or are you able to manage it? Give me some tips there if you have.
Oh, so sweet. I think we had a lot of those moments when we were growing my poetry project also, no? क्योंकि सारी जो कविताएं वो मेरी खुद की हैं, मैंने खुद बोली हैं, ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल हैं, प्यार के बारे में, मोहब्बत के बारे में, इन सब चीज़ों के बारे में हैं, फेलियर के भी बारे में हैं, सपनों के बारे में. And there would be times when I was very committed to a certain project and I'd be like, oh, this one's really going to work, because we had some immensely successful poems and some of them would not really land. तो लगता था कि खुद का रिजेक्शन हो रहा है. फिर of course you have to turn the table and see आपका जो एक्सपीरियंस है वो हर किसी का नहीं होता है, राइट. सो सिमिलरली जैसे आप किसी प्रोजेक्ट को देख रहे हैं, हर कोई वैसे नहीं देख रहा है, क्योंकि इट्स लिटरली योर बेबी, सो इन्वेस्टेड इन इट फ्रॉम अ वेरी डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव. जस्ट हैविंग अ टीम दैट यू कैन रिलाई ऑन, आई थिंक हैज़ बीन वन ऑफ माई most amazing assets. Just having a team that is so that is so objective yet empathetic to the entire cause, knowing fully well that what she's running is also married to her own identity. That agar unka ye succeed nahi hota, it's not a failure on her part as an artist, but it's just that it didn't work in the current system. So maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe we didn't do justice to some part of it, but just having a good team that's objective. So I rely a lot on the, good services and the good consultation of my team.
Yeah, I think a good team can help you build things that you don't even dream of, you don't even think are possible.
Yeah.
That is the power of a good team. And now to manage that team is another skill that, is that skill that one has to. I think for me it's been a learning curve, and it's been a journey still in progress. How about you?
Managing a team and building on it. Oh my gosh, we're right now
You've done
that
for many years though. With Rolling Stone, you were the editor there, executive editor there.
Yes. I've had an incredible experience actually running Rolling Stone India and running the newsroom, working in big teams, working in teams that are not just editorial but also pure business and also production, also IP building. So I think that one of the things that really has helped me establish my a good sort of glue between teams has been to listen to them. I think that to be someone who's a co-partner, a co-investor in an idea is important for you as a leader, right? Because you're leading them. They're always looking up to you for leadership. They're also looking up to you for validation. So I think teams need to be validated, and you cannot be dismissing anyone's idea because you think you know a lot. In fact, just this morning, I was watching a podcast where they said that one of the biggest companies in a certain era had this beautiful institutional policy to say yes to an idea. That they would not, if a team member went to a leader and asked for like a sanction on some idea, they could not say no. They had to say yes and give it a shot. And to say no required the leader to give like a 2-page explanation. So what they did was they built an institutional hurdle to say no.
Wow.
And isn't that amazing? So I think my
You're holding the boss accountable to say no, which is incredible, which is so unconventional and so good.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so I think
to make room for all these brilliant ideas.
Because brilliance can come from every quarter. I think the moment you start thinking that you know everything and you're the only gateway to excellence, I think that's where.
True, that is. I think that's still a learning curve for me, and I'm trying to learn from you how to be a better entrepreneur and how to sort of navigate through this journey of combining your passion and your identity and what you stand for and your purpose and people's management and everything together.
You're doing it so well. Look at the podcast. The podcast is literally a consummation of all of your, passions, and it involves people, and it involves like a team, structure, conversation. It's so much.
We're just trying to build something meaningful here. I really hope that our vision comes to life. But I'm persistent about it, and I hope to continue doing so. Rest God willing,
That's great.
At the end of the day, you have to not attach yourself so much to your business identity also at the end of the day. Because when you are doing on a commercial level, somewhere it becomes a business entity, even if it's your passion.
Absolutely.
And to attach a lot of meaning to it, then this has to be successful. This deal has to come my way. This has to happen this way. Somewhere you start going on a path that leads to a lot of insecurity, that leads to a lot of fear, that leads to and all these things are a hurdle to your creativity, right? They cause a creative block. So have you encountered any such creative blocks in your career so far?
Creative blocks. मुझे लगता है शोभा, मुझे कभी टाइम ही नहीं मिला कि मैं फुर्सत से चलो आज ब्लॉक है, क्योंकि हम लोग को ना ऐसे, क्योंकि मैं जर्नलिस्ट, ऑफ कोर्स जर्नलिस्ट को कैसे आप तराशते हो अपनी कला, बाय जस्ट डूइंग 4 आर्टिकल्स अ डे, ऑल्सो डूइंग प्रोडक्शन, वर्किंग इन अ न्यूज़ रूम, बॉस की सुनना, ये मेरी दिस वाज माय ट्रेनिंग. सो कभी ना वी नेवर गॉट अ मौका टू एवर गो अप टू समवन एंड से व्हाट, आज मेरे को ना ये इंट्रोडक्शन लिखने का ना इंस्पिरेशन नहीं मिल रहा. योर बॉस विल गिव यू वन चांटा एंड टेल यू चुपचाप से लिखो, 2 बजे स्टोरी फाइल करनी है, 3 बजे प्रोडक्शन है, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट डे का इशू निकालना है. सो आई थिंक बिकॉज ऑफ आई एम वेरी डेडलाइन ओरिएंटेड फॉर श्योर, एंड आई लव दैट अबाउट जर्नलिज्म. I love the fact that people are so productive, the discipline and the productivity that you bring to the table. If you're an excellent journalist, if you read a lot, if you're really, find a lot of fulfillment in knowing more than just what your core expertise is, then you're going to do very well with the discipline that you have. If you only have the discipline and you keep writing averagely, then it's not going to really help you. But मुझे लगता है creative block ना practice से ही सुधरता है. जैसे हर बड़ा राइटर यही बोलेगा, whether it's J.K. Rowling और गुलजार साहब भी बोलेंगे कि मैं रोज थोड़ा लिखता हूँ. तो आप रोज थोड़ा थोड़ा करोगे तो ऐसी हैबिट ही बन जाएगी कि आपको ब्लॉक, मैं तो वो एक्चुअली वो मानती भी नहीं हूँ कि ऐसी कोई चीज़ है.
अच्छा.
I think you could have an emotional block by not, like I haven't written in a couple of weeks, to be honest, and I realized that I wasn't able to write, or I couldn't get the time to write because I didn't let my mind be idle, or I didn't do things that were not immediately needed from me. And sometimes all you need is just that, a change of scenery. So it's not so much as a creative block as it is like an emotional, cleanse that you need. You need a different setting. You need to be, probably if you're writing every day at home, go to a cafe, talk to a friend. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं. किसी ने एक और चीज़ बड़ी बढ़िया लिखी थी कि वो सुबह उठ के ऐसे 4 चेक्स करते हैं कि how am I feeling emotionally? So that just makes you more aware. How am I feeling physically? How am I feeling spiritually? And how am I feeling creatively? So just saying, okay, today I'm a little number 4 on the physical part, but I'm feeling a 10 in the creative mode. Sometimes your creativity just feels, but I still feel कि मैं इतना नहीं भाव देती हूँ इन चीज़ों को. बस done is better than perfect is the mantra for me.
That is something that I have learned over the years so much, that executing something is more important than just trying to perfect it, because we waste so much time into chasing for this perfection. And however much you try to perfect things, you still would, because you're a creative person, you still see that there is room for improvement, that it can go another way and all that. So I think getting it done instead of just pursuing or chasing after perfection is a better idea and a great idea any day. Nirmika, we are talking about creativity so much today, and you've seen it from both the sides, as an artist, as a creative person, as a content creator, and also as a brand custodian. So tell me, what is the success sauce here for somebody to be creative and make it financially also viable?
Oh, wow. I think I'll have many tips, but the first thing is, I often call it like either the 3 C's or the 4 C's, just so that people remember. One is to consume a lot, right? So if you're a creative person, you're only as good as the influences that you have, right? So you build your authentic self by really soaking in all the authenticity around you. So if you're a poet, आप बहुत पढ़िए पहले, तभी आप लिख पाएंगे. आप ऐसे नहीं लिख पाएंगे. अगर आप म्यूजिशियन हो तो सब कुछ सुनो, है ना. पहले ही नहीं क्रिएट करना है, पहले सुनना है. ऑफ कोर्स ये तो प्रोसेस है, आप बचपन से ही सुनते आ रहे हैं, लेकिन टू जस्ट एक्सपैंड योर क्रिएटिव यूनिवर्स. सो क्रिएटिव पीपल हैव अ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू एक्सपैंड बाय कंज्यूमिंग. सेकेंड इज टू क्रिएट. इफ you're a creative person, you have to create. Create is literally the essence, the root of being a creative person. If you're not creating, you're not creative. So if you're not creating daily, why are you creative? Why should I consider that you're creative?
बिना खुद को judge करे whether it's good or not, just create and let it out.
Just create. और किसने बोला है? कौन judge क्यों करोगे आप जब आपने किसी चीज़ को कंपेयर नहीं करी है? उसकी मैं बात करूँगी कंपटीशन की एक्चुअली. थर्ड थिंग इज़ कि आपने कंज्यूम किया, आपने क्रिएट किया, उसके बाद आप स्टार्ट कम्युनिकेटिंग. You have to communicate, because if you're a creative person, clearly you're not doing it for yourself. If you have a passion to be a creative person for the world, then of course, I also feel that creative people have a lot of responsibility to fail and to stumble and to try as many things as possible. And the fifth thing which you mentioned, जैसे judging की बात होती है, competition की. एक जो fallacy है, जो मैंने बहुत बारी बोला भी है, मैं फिर से बोलूँगी कि क्रिएटिविटी में कोई कंपटीशन हो ही नहीं सकता है. क्योंकि कंपटीशन या प्रतिस्पर्धा किस चीज़ में होती है? जहाँ पे 2 लोग एक चीज़ कर रहे हैं और रूल्स सेट हैं, तब होती है कंपटीशन. जब 2 लोग 2 अलग चीज़ें कर रहे हैं तो कंपटीशन हो कैसे सकता है? कि आपने किसने रूल्स बनाए हैं? इट्स अनफॉर्चुनेट कि हम लोगों ने हम पर ही रूल्स बना रखे हैं. सो यू हैव टू थिंक ऑफ क्रिएटिविटी एज अ वेरी ओपन एंड अ क्लियर कैनवस दैट यू कैन बिल्ड फॉर योर सेल्फ. सो इफ यू हैव ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, एंड ऑफ कोर्स योर क्रिएटिव ड्राइव एंड डिसिप्लिन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कंसिस्टेंसी तो इज द बज़वर्ड. इट्स वन ऑफ द रेयरेस्ट वर्च्यूज दैट यू कैन एक्चुअली imbibe and inculcate these days. और क्या चाहिए, बस ये सब करोगे.
True, you know, consistency makes miracles happen. आपको लगता नहीं है कि आप कोई एक गोल को अचीव कर लोगे, लेकिन आप थोड़ा टाइम एवरी डे अगर उस पर लगाते रहते हो तो यू नेवर नो कि आप कितनी जल्दी उस गोल तक पहुंच जाते हो. दिस आई हैव सीन इन मल्टीपल एरियाज ऑफ माई लाइफ, वेदर इन रिलेशनशिप्स और इन द फिटनेस जर्नी और इन माई ईटिंग हैबिट्स. थोड़ा 5% करके यू बिल्ड इट एवरी डे एंड इवेंचुअली यू सी दैट ओके व्हाट यू वर ड्रीमिंग ऑफ एज समथिंग विच इज टू फार फेच्ड, दैट कमिंग ट्रू फॉर यू.
ब्यूटिफुली. एंड फिर आपके ड्रीम्स और जो गोल्स हैं वो भी आगे आगे खिसकते रहते हैं. अभी आपने ये किया तो अब क्या करोगे,
लेकिन जब तक आपके गोल पोस्ट मूविंग नहीं होंगे ना, तब तक लाइफ जीने का मजा भी नहीं है.
Sure.
है ना, एक गोल पोस्ट बना लिया, उसको अचीव कर लिया, उसके बाद इट हैज टू लाइक पुश यू टू डू समथिंग, यू नो, नॉट इन अ प्रेशराइजिंग वे बट इन अ वेरी लिबरेटिंग वे दैट या यू कैन मेक थिंग्स व्हिच आर इम्पॉसिबल हैपन. है ना, आप और आगे जा सकते हो और ब्रिलियंट कुछ क्रिएट कर सकते हो. Wonderful, Nirmika. Now I want to come to the creator in you, the poet in you. I've heard your poetry on multiple platforms, है ना. आप बहुत अच्छा लिखते हो और उससे भी ज़्यादा अच्छा एक्सप्रेस करते हो. एंड आपकी कविता ज़रूर सुनेंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले आप कविताएं मोस्टली लिखते हो अबाउट लव, अबाउट ड्रीम्स, अबाउट टेकिंग द फ्लाइट, द लीप ऑफ फेथ एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज पॉजिटिव थिंग्स. सो आई पर्टिकुलरली वॉन्ट टू टॉक अबाउट लव. What is that situation in your life? कहाँ से ये इतने प्यारे प्यारे वर्ड्स आते हैं उस लव पोएट्री के अंदर?
Oh, so sweet. Actually, और सुनो की जो शुरुआत है वो प्यार से तो थी, लेकिन गुस्से से ज़्यादा थी, क्योंकि प्यार नहीं है तो गुस्सा तो होगा, है ना.
प्यार कहीं चला गया था. ब्रेकअप हो गया था.
I was coming out of a relationship, so it was definitely a very very tumultuous period in my life, you know, like how mid-20s are for everyone. तो बहुत गुस्सा था कि अगर प्यार में मेरे तुम पागल नहीं तो प्यार करने की ज़रूरत नहीं.
वाह.
कि अगर झूठों में किनारा दिखता है तो मेरा अब डूबना ही सही. मजाक है प्यार क्या, मजाक है ये प्यार क्या, जो बहला फुसला संभाल लिया. अगर तुम्हें मुझसे शिकायत है तो हमारा अब सुला नहीं.
Wow.
So that was basically the final nail in the coffin to tell the person that I love,
letting you go.
that तुमको अगर if you're not madly in love with me, why the hell should I be in love with you? And then I realized that I was able to articulate some of my deepest feelings, जो अगर आप मुझसे नॉर्मल बात करोगे ना प्यार मोहब्बत के बारे में तो मैं शायद नहीं बोल पाऊंगी, लेकिन आप मुझसे कविता के माध्यम से पूछोगे ना, so I can express everything. So I realized that I was able to confront. आप vulnerability की जो बात करते हो, some of my most vulnerable, delicate feelings through poetry. तो मेरे लिए तो actually emotional, mental cleanse हो गया.
वाह. पोएट्री इतना अच्छा मीडियम है ना, अपने अंदर का सब कुछ निकाल के बाहर रख देने का और फिर छोड़ देने का कि जिसको देखना है, जिसको कंज्यूम करना है वो करे, लोगों को अच्छा लगे. बट आई थिंक यू डू इट मोर फॉर योर सेल्फ व्हेन यू आर स्टार्टिंग आउट, बिकॉज इनिशियली किसी को नहीं पता होता कि कहाँ फ्लाई करेगा. है ना. तो ये तो पोएट्री की शुरुआत हुई ब्रेकअप के साथ, लेकिन इन योर रिलेशनशिप्स कभी प्यार से भी आपने ऐसी पोएट्रीज लिखी हैं, डेडिकेट की हैं और आप वो गुड मॉर्निंग गुड नाइट में कविताएं जाती हैं आपके पार्टनर को?
हाँ, बहुत बारी गई हैं. अगर समझ में आ जाए मेरे पार्टनर को तो ऐसा भी हुआ है. Then I'm like, do you understand what I'm writing? So of course not everyone is as sort of Hindi leaning as we are.
You
right?
write mostly in Hindi.
I write only in Hindi. Yeah. I mean, I've written in English, but I prefer to write in Hindi. मतलब मुझे लगता है हिंदी is my.
मुझे भी ऐसा लगता है यार. बाकी सारी चीजें मैं अंग्रेजी में कर लेती हूँ, बट पोएट्री की जहाँ पे बात आती है. By the way, I didn't tell you, I also write a little bit of poetry here.
आप सुनाओ, चलो आप बताओ.
मैं कुछ नहीं सुना
एक चीज सुना दो मुझे आप.
नहीं, मैं कुछ अभी फिलहाल
वैसे ही वातावरण भी ऐसा ही है ना, माहौल ऐसा ही है.
नहीं, मैंने भी ब्रेकअप के बाद ही लिखी.
Nothing connects than a good breakup. Huh?
I know.
It's like the essential ingredient in the life of a poet.
लेकिन आपकी तरह मैं बहुत ज्यादा उसको प्रैक्टिस नहीं करती हूँ, because I've not done shows, I've not like लिख कर भूल गए वाली कहानी है. लेकिन हाँ, मैंने भी कुछ ऐसे लिखा था, कुछ रेलगाड़ी के दो पहिए कंपैरिजन, कुछ इस तरह से था.
अरे वाह.
But I'll send it to you.
Yes, I'd love to read.
This.
I'm very curious to see, because हमारा जो एक और चीज़ जो मैंने बाद में रियलाइज करी है कि हमारा जो प्यार मोहब्बत का जो यूनिवर्स है ना, वो एक्चुअली आदमियों ने बिल्ड किया है. सारे जो आपके प्यार मोहब्बत के गाने हैं या फिर आप पोएट्स को देखिए, वो आदमियों ने बिल्ड करे हैं.
एक्चुअली
बहुत ही कम राइटर्स हैं, जैसे कौसर जी हैं, अन्विता हैं, प्रिया सरैया हैं, जो पोएट्स हैं, जो थ्रू whose eyes, through you know their eyes were able to see the world through a woman's eyes. कि उनको कैसा लगता है कि प्यार में, मतलब ऐसी जो फीलिंग जो मैंने बोली कि प्यार में मेरे पागल नहीं तो प्यार करने की जरूरत है, ये एंटाइटलमेंट वाली फीलिंग है ना. मोस्टली ऐसी एंटाइटलमेंट वाली फीलिंग आदमी दिखाता है, जैसे हिंदी गानों में आप देखोगे. But for a woman to also own it and to convey it and to express and take pride in saying that, hey, I'm worth a lot more than what I receive right now, it made me feel very powerful, you know.
you know, sometimes when you are into relationships that are not working for you, you also start having these self-worth issues कि is it happening to me because I am not worth it? And हम लड़कियां ना बहुत ज़्यादा self improvisation करना शुरू हो जाते हैं उस process में, and then we start deprecating what we and who we already are. So have you gone through any of this journey?
Have I gone through? Yeah, मेरे को बड़ा simple था life में. Maybe it's one of the things that keeps me very sane is that I know that I'm my own person. That all of my identities are just extensions of me. So maybe it's a good thing that I will never ever derive an identity from being somebody. But in my relationships, I realize that as much as and see now that's the contradiction and the paradox of a woman. While I'm saying this, I know how devoted, unconditional, and selfless I can be at home. Right? Where if I've not really, if say for example, the maid hasn't come home and my partner hasn't eaten and I've got a meeting, I will make sure that I've done all of the things. You know how women are, right?
That's what, you know, life takes over and your relationships do take over you. And I also lose myself completely in a relationship. I don't even get to realize that I have sort of started shifting myself towards the things that the partner likes the most. You know, you start losing your identity, and this is such an organic process. It's not happening because someone has told you to, or this has to happen, but it's just some inner conditioning and wiring which is just so hardwired in this way that you are like, you can be this personality in a relationship, you know, which I sometimes reflect and think that no, but what about what I liked? And you're like, no, I'm okay to let go of what I like. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. And you know, I do get into this identity crisis in one area of my life, and that is the relationship, because I keep coming back to this question, what do I want? And then I arrive to situations where I don't know what I want, you know, because I've forgotten what I wanted because I kept doing what the other person wanted.
Interesting.
And
क्योंकि हमारे कल्चर में भी, और मुझे नहीं लगता केवल इंडिया में, सब जगह जो डिवोशन, सैक्रिफाइसिंग, कॉम्प्रोमाइजिंग एस्पेक्ट है रिलेशनशिप के, वो बहुत ग्लोरीफाई कर रखे हैं. और जो समानता है, जो egalitarianism in a relationship is not talked about. And I think it's upon us. I think थोड़ा change तो हमें ही करना है, that we don't have to start feeling guilty about the fact that we haven't done this. Like, I totally relate with what you're saying. I'm absolutely, कभी मुझे भी लगता है कि will I be a hypocrite कि मैं बाहर जाके तो बोल रही हूँ कि नारीवाद जिंदाबाद, और घर में जाके I'm thinking कि अच्छा इनके लिए खाना नहीं बनाया तो फिर क्या करेंगे, चलो मैं ही खा लेती हूँ, इनके लिए अच्छा बनाए थे, अच्छा इनको अच्छी चीज़ें इनको दे देते हैं, मैं थोड़ा सा ले लेती हूँ. These are the things
that we do every single day,
right? Every single day. And I think वो अपना जो हिस्से की, जैसे मैं बोलती हूँ, मुझे अपने हिस्से की इमोशंस चाहिए, मुझे अपने हिस्से का प्यार चाहिए, और मुझे अपने हिस्से की लाइफ भी चाहिए. There's a poem that I wrote actually कि आधी धूप थोड़ा पानी, कुछ पन्ने तेरी कहानी, कुछ पन्ने मेरी कहानी. आधी धूप थोड़ा पानी, कुछ पन्ने तेरी कहानी, कुछ पन्ने मेरी कहानी, कुछ तेरी जुबानी, कुछ मेरी जुबानी, काश ऐसे ही बन जाए हमारी जिंदगानी. तो I think that's how it has to be. It has to be a little bit of you. And यार मेरे को लगता है इंडिया वाली प्रॉब्लम भी है बहुत ज़्यादा कि हम लोग को ना यही दिखाया गया है, द सैक्रिफाइसिंग वुमन. डिफाई करो, वो भी डिफाई करो.
almost bored of it.
No, I'm like वो भी डिफाई करो, सब कुछ डिफाई करो. डिफाई.
कुछ नया डिफाई करने का मतलब है कि आप कुछ नया बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हो, कुछ नए में आप एक नई पॉसिबिलिटी देख रहे हो, और आप एक नया कुछ बेहतर देख रहे हो, तभी तो आप डिफाई करो ना. जो I think it's a great word that I'm taking from you. So I'm also going to use it now. Defy karo.
Say it. Shake it up.
Shake it up a little and see what falls out.
Absolutely.
Right? Nirmika, we've spoken about so many beautiful things here, and thank you for sharing your vulnerable side. Thank you for sharing your businesswoman side. And I'm just so happy that you're in a place where you are in love with who you are, what you do. Everything seems like an extension of you. To me also, when people come and say that you host also events, you're a podcaster also, you're an emotional intelligence coach as well, you do corporate trainings, you're an author, you do so many things together. But and a yoga teacher, of course. So for me also, the standard answer that I always give is that everything that I do is just an extension of me.
Absolutely.
Nothing of it feels like work at all.
Absolutely.
You tell me
beautiful.
anything out of these 6-7 things, everything feels like work. But nothing of these 6-7 things feels like work at all. So I think I can completely understand where you're coming from.
I feel so great. So beautifully articulate.
More power to you. More power to you.
Shobha, too. I'm so happy that our happiness and our joy, our fulfillment, and let me say it, our success with the life that we have built for ourselves is so palpable that you can see it when I say it and I can see it when you say it.
Absolutely, Nirmika. Absolutely. And, on a parting note, I would like to ask you one last question that I ask everyone, and that is your definition of success. I want to sort of break from the conditioning that we grow up with the definition of success. What is Nirmika's definition of success as of today?
My definition of success and my measurement of success is to be able to creatively do anything that I want to do, to have enough enablement. Watch what I'm saying. I want people to know that I want to be so free to be able to creatively do anything to feel successful. Now, to feel successful and to be able to do creative things, I will need money. I will need stability. I will need sustainability. And if all of these things are covered, they will give me enough enablement to do creatively any outlandish thing that I want to do. तो एक अकेली चीज़ नहीं है कि हाँ मेरे को पैसा चाहिए, हाँ मुझे ये चाहिए, ये बिजनेस बढ़ाना है. नहीं, मुझे करना है जो मेरे मन में आता है. कल को मेरे को एक अपना कॉन्सर्ट तैयार करना है से इन कैलिफोर्निया. आई शुड बी सो सक्सेसफुल टू बी एबल टू डू दैट. मेरे को लगेगा कि तब मैं सक्सेसफुल हूँ कि जो भी मेरे दिमाग में जो कॉन्सेप्ट आइडिया है उसको मैं एग्जीक्यूट
करने की फ्रीडम है.
और
फ्रीडम, लॉट ऑफ फ्रीडम कम्स फ्रॉम मनी, लॉट ऑफ फ्रीडम कम्स फ्रॉम ग्रेट पार्टनरशिप्स. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जहाँ से फ्रीडम आती है. और उस फ्रीडम को बनाने के परसूट में देयर इज अ प्रोसेस, देयर इज अ मेथड टू दिस मैडनेस ऑफ बीइंग एबल टू डू व्हाटएवर यू डिजायर टू डू. एंड आई विश यू ऑल द बेस्ट with all that is coming forward for you in the next few days, Nirmika. I can see all the excitement on your face. I can see all the joy. You know, the thing that I'm loving the most here is the joy on your face when you're saying, it's like you've set yourself free to be this child in this world again and learn everything from a new perspective, you know, even if you know them already.
How lovely. How lovely. I'm going to take those words that I do really feel like a child in a creative field where the sky is the limit, that you're going to do everything that you really wanted to do. और life में ऐसा time तो आना ही चाहिए ना, क्योंकि I think we've earned it.
You have, most definitely.
You've earned it. You're doing stuff that you love and you're amplifying so many voices, and to give me the, you know, platform to be able to say to other people, and I really wish all creative people all the success in the world कि आपको जो करना है freedom से करिए, and we are here to help you, right?
Right. And Nirmika's platform, Mox Asia, I would urge all the artists to check out this platform क्योंकि वो बहुत कुछ interesting एक ecosystem build कर रही हैं that will also help you to take your creativity to the next level. क्योंकि उनके जो personal challenges और learning curve रहा है वो सब निचोड़ के she has brought all of this into this platform. So I think people must check out your platform and look for viable partnerships with you, Nirmika. You've been such an inspirational leader for the last many years, and I just wish you the best for your future.
Oh, thank you. This was such a beautiful blessing. Thank you, Shobha, and love all.
Thank you for joining us at the Journey Within podcast. It was such a treat to talk to you.
It was such an honor for me. Thank you.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I really hope आपको पसंद आया, और अगर आपको पसंद आया है तो जल्दी से जाके वो like button को press करो, subscribe to the channel, comment on the video, comment your favorite part from the video, and tell me what you want to hear or what questions sort of bother you. What do you want to find about your journey within and your inner world? We'll be happy to bring in those conversations. Thank you so much for watching and giving your love to the channel. Thank you.